Alright, so we're going to do question number 13. What it has to do with is a small rock sits on the edge of a tall building. A strong wind blows the rock off the edge. The distance in feet between the rock and the ground t seconds after the rock leaves the edge is given by d equals negative 16t squared minus 4t plus 472. So part A, how many seconds after the rock leaves the edge is it 460 feet from the ground? Round to the nearest hundredth if needed. Now the other one, part B, how many seconds after the rock leaves the edge does it hit the ground? Round to the nearest hundredth if needed. So what we're going to do is do A and then B. So it's asking how many seconds after the rock leaves the edge is it 460 feet from the ground. So what you're doing is taking that equation and setting it equal to 460. So when is that equation equal to 460? So it starts off, so this is number 13. So part A. So 460 equals, and then you have negative 16t squared minus 4t plus 472. What we're going to do is move things all to the left to make it all positive. Okay, which means we're going to have to combine these as well. So I bring this over to the left, and then this over to the left, and this also over to the left, which makes them all opposite signs. So I'm saying 16t squared plus 4t minus 472 plus 460, because that's still there, equals 0. Remember, we always set it to 0. Now these two can be combined. So this right here, when you take these away, these are opposite signs, so it's negative 12 left here. So I have 16t squared plus 4t minus 12 equals 0. So now I have to see if I can factor anything out. I look through these and it looks like I have 4 in common. So I pull out a 4. And then I leave my leftovers, which is t squared plus t minus 3. Okay. Oh, actually, no. 4t squared, because the 16 is received by 4 times 4. So that's 4t squared plus t minus 3. So now I set up the double parenthesis thing. So I put 4t and t. And because these are opposite signs, I can do plus minus or minus plus, either one. So let's see. I can only get it by 3 and 1, but I don't want the 3 to combine with my 4. So I do 3 over here and 1 over here. And because it's positive in the middle, the one that gives me 4 gets the plus. So when I check these, right here, my inner gives me negative 3t. My outer gives me positive 4t. So 4 minus 3 is 1, or 1t. So that gives it back to me, so this is fine. So now I set both parts equal to 0 and solve. So I got t equals negative 1, and then on here, so plus 3 plus 3. So 4t equals 3. Divide by 4, divide by 4. So then t equals 0.75. Now, because this is talking about dropping and falling and, rocks and stuff off of buildings, when these types of questions come up, we only take the positive number. We don't need the negative. So for part A, your answer would be t equals 0. Or your time is 0.75 seconds. Okay, so that's part A. Now for part B, doing something similar except we don't have an extra number. We're dealing with just when it's at 0. So we're just setting it equal to 0. We're just solving. So we have our 0 equals negative 16 t squared minus 4t plus 472. 472. Okay? But now I want to make this positive over here. I want this first term to be positive always. So I'm moving everything to the left, which makes it its opposite. And then I have nothing on the right. So now I'm going to factor out the 4 again. And then 4 times 118 gives you 472. So you know. Now, this right here, no matter how many times I've tried to do it, it won't factor. This actually you can use quadratic formula, which is x equals negative b plus minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. So let's identify our a, b, and c. A is 4, b is 1, so there's a 1 in front of that t, and then c is negative 118. So now when I plug it into Pythagorean theorem, that's negative 1 plus minus the square root of 1 squared minus 4 times a 4 times c, which is negative 118, all over 2 times 4. So when I do this out, it's negative 1 plus minus the square root of 1 plus, and then you're left with 1 plus, well, when you add a 1 plus 1887 divided by 8. Then you end up with negative 1 plus minus the square root of 1888 all over 8. You can actually enter this in, but remember you have to separate them. So you have negative 1 plus square root of 1888 over 8. And then you have x equals negative 1 minus the square root of 1888 divided by 8. When you calculate this, you're going to end up with a long number. You end up with a few long numbers, but you're going to round it to, so your first one, the addition one, when you do it out, put it in your calculator, you'll end up with 5.31. And then, so that's seconds. And then this one, so x is approximately that. And then this one will be negative 5.56 seconds. And it can't be this one because it's negative. So ultimately x is going to be about 5.31 seconds. So that's both A and B for number 13.